Geopolitics and geoeconomics. So before we enter to the detailed topic of geopolitics and geoeconomics, we have to discuss a little bit about what is geopolitics. So geopolitics is the effect of geography upon a country or a state in a various forms. There can be two form of geographical location wise. One is landlocked state, another is isolated state. So landlocked states are basically those are surrounded by various countries and they cannot move without the permission of the neighboring countries. So these are called landlocked states. And few countries are completely isolated. They are far away from the global point of view, a corner kind of situation. Few countries are situated. So those are isolated states. If we discuss that how the geography is affecting the politics, then we have to understand another two more things. That is geography, that is state is located around the equator or state is located around the temperate. If it is temperate, then there is a temperature variations are various. So the infrastructure, which is another important component of geopolitics and as well as geoeconomics, that has to be built in the temperature friendly way. Suppose in India, there are temperature variations are varies from cold to winter to summer, hot summer, and the various states has a different infrastructure requirements. So the infrastructure has to be built in such a way that will cater the need of the people at that perfect season of the environment or the situation, suppose as summer, winter or any other situations. If we go into in details, it has a effect on social and political and economic development. So geopolitics has an effect on social, because if international relationships are good, if we could see that now the India's position is one of the very good social relationship. So it's very easy to get visa for tourist visa, for any study visa, for other countries such like as Russia, America, Australia, Canada. If the geopolitical situations diversely affect, then social circumstances change, and also the main component of social, that is education, has differed. So the geographical factors we understood. Now we entered in the politics. Struggle to promote one's interest. Now various countries has their own interest, and how the geography can help to protect that interest. Suppose I have an interest to get the mining uranium from Australia, then there is a need some geographical connectivity. If India and Australia, China comes in between, then it is very difficult, because India's relationship with China in the international forum is not that much good. So in that sense, it is very difficult. So geographical location, if something we want from Russia, suppose we are importing now the oil from Russia. So if there is a good connectivity between Russia and India, then it could be better. So there is a struggle to promote one's interest. So it has a continuous struggle to build a good relationship with the neighbors. That is the most important factor of geopolitics. Now it has another, as I said, the location, climate, and the natural resources, population, and physical terrain. If the total terrain, if we see the Himalayan terrain or the Antarctica point of view, so there is a high cold. So there is very difficult to inculcate the mining things. There may be various minings are available, which is very good mineral, but it cannot be inculcate or use for the people, because that is situated in the Antarctica or such kind of situation. Now we enter to the next point, the strategy to pursue the geopolitical goals in Indo-Pacific. If we see that India has managed to emerge as a major pivot of global Indo-Pacific grand strategic imagination. In that way, avoided the temptation of militarized securities and build the Quad. It's a Quad is a Australia, Japan, India and the United States combination, 4 states as combination. So now why it was so important? We have to understand that these 4 countries are now form a political association to trigger up basically the aggression of China in the Southeast Asia and other countries, neighbor countries like Cambodia, Taiwan, Japan. So the Quad is another important. Now which has ensured that association of Southeast Asian nations states to not feel uneasy by the even increasing balance of power articulation in the Indo-Pacific. So how China is increasing its defense power, economic power, but as a country of India or a little smaller country than China in the demographically as well as economically as well as politically, we need not to worry much more if we have a good association in the Southeast Asian nation. So it is one of the best example how geopolitics can be played for the betterment of the country and figure out the neighboring power centers. The missing link in the geoeconomics in India's decision is to take the Indo-Pacific and Quad in a big way. It is a while unwilling to join 2 of the region's key multilateral trading agreements goes to show that geoeconomics and geopolitics are imagined and pursued parallelly in New Delhi, not as complementing each other. Why I am saying this? Because we have to understand that India didn't sign Indo-Pacific economic framework while deciding in the join the 3 pillars of it. But India has signed another IPF, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, in the case of supply chain, tax and anti-corruption and clean energy. For this clean energy, why India has signed, we need to understand that geopolitics and geoeconomics is based on geoenergy. So if overall world politics, if we could see, it's all fights are basically centric to the geopower or geoenergy. Now how geoenergy can be inculcated? Suppose India is now importing the energy, the oil from Russia. India is now a economic power. Another to get a permanent membership in United Nations, there is a need of geopolitics. So geopolitics, if it is good, India can get uranium easily from Australia. If geoeconomics is good, India can get oil or other energy related material from other countries worldwide. It's very easily. So the basically geopolitics and geoeconomics are dependent in one pillar, that is geoenergy. And if we are able to balance this geoenergy, then automatically the development process can be first of any country. So now we have to understand what is geoeconomics. The geoeconomics is the study of spatial, temporal and political aspects of economics and resources. Although there is no widely accepted singular definition in the distinction geoeconomics, but we can say there is a new venture in the geoeconomics definition has came. It has given by one of the Bushal Gaismili, the Algerian economist. He is telling that infinite cone rising from the center of the earth to other space, including the economic analysis of planetary resources. We are seeing now that India as well as Russia as well as America, China, all the most of the developed countries now are putting their effort to the space research. Now the main target is to access the geopower, because the huge quantity of minerals might be available in the moon, the other planetary situations. So how to inculcate those minerals or geopower situation for the own development of country, that is the another paradigm of geopolitics, and that's become geoeconomics. So the Bushal Galswini has rightly said that it is not the politics within the states or inside of the state or inside of the country, it's now politics of the geographical whole space of the world, where the various planets also comes under in the periphery of this. Now the third phase of this topic, we have to understand that geopolitics and globalization. In this era of globalization, when we are talking about geopolitics, it has a different paradigm. It has various paradigm of economic warfare. Now, earlier it was a conventional kind of war, but now the situation has a economic warfare. Those countries having more economic power and resources of the world's, they will be the superior and they will dominate the other country or other states directly or indirectly or through some association or some kind of mechanism. It's happen. One example on this, if the most of the countries economic businesses now carried out by the dollar, so dollar is getting day by day strengthened, and the such like as country our Indian rupees or other values Sri Lankan money are getting declining. So it's a economic warfare era where we have to think in a different way, in a different dimension according to geopolitics and globalization. Earlier people use one money in that particular country, but now the one money, suppose I have a dollar, I can use most of the countries of the world. If I have a rupee, I cannot use all the countries. Now recently Government of India has stepped forward and formed the rupee. In that way, we are able to negotiate or pay some money through the rupees also. So these 5-4 countries at least, now Indian rupee can be used. So such way there are various forms of economic warfare, as well as resources important, as well as the social component is important. The parallelly the rupee or the dollar or the euro, this is also important for the economic warfare. The second important component of geopolitization of trade talk. Now, whenever the country, if you see now the debate on the United Nations organizations, what happening, what the G20, what is happening, what the BRICS countries are doing, the all are geopoliticization and trade talk. Suppose China has planned a Silk Route through the old Silk Route through Pakistan and occupied Kashmir and few area of China, Aksai China and few more things and all. So this is kind of a trade talk they want to establish. When the trade purpose is not fulfilled, the political power has been used to make it convenient. Similarly, state capitalism has come on the power. Suppose a country is promoting various kind of chips. We can see the example of chips production. The China and Taiwan is one of the hub who is producing now the chip for our mobile, our laptop, our computer and everything. Now, state has promoted once upon a time, otherwise private invention could not able to produce such kind of chip in nowadays. The recently Government of India has also establishing its unit in the Bangalore also in various part of the country by the state capital, means country is investing for the future trade, which is may not be possible for any private entrepreneur or any small entrepreneur to cope up with the situation. So this is state capital has been invested to country's growth of the economy. Maybe in the second stage, various private players such like as Tata or other companies may come. Tata, Reliance, they will come and promote this kind of activity. So state capital is the important component of the globalization geopolitics. And the fourth is the competition for fenced market, not natural resources. Earlier we have seen there is a huge demand for natural resources, but India's one of the example that graphite, the hira, many more things, the gold, which is imported in India in the raw form and the made it in a fenced form, and its values get doubles and triple. So now the world is looking for fenced product, the lucrative products, the attractive products. So the globalization has played an important role on the geopolitics. Suppose we could see that in India, the most of the garments used to made by Surat mill industries used to the main producer of the our clothes. But now most of the clothes are coming from imported from various countries. So the finished product, the fenced product has an important role. And the survival of the biggest and hollowing out of the periphery. Now this is a concept where the biggest player will survive. The smaller player will be washed out from the natural course of the time. So how to play an important role in this field as a big player in the global periphery. Then only the development, then only the global politics can be monitored, the global economics can be monitored through this globalization era. Suppose if you see, the China has making alliances with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and some small countries. Now importing a huge capital in these countries and so using their port or geographical location for their economic benefit. So India has also triggered and how to help. In that way, India has started the relationship with the neighboring countries except Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, all the countries they have established to how these neighboring countries geographical location can be used. So now we can see the infrastructure driven alliance. Suppose a country India will make a port in Sri Lanka and that port can be used for the trade to the Southeast Asia and other countries for the various purposes. So this kind of initiatives are taken in the geopolitics era. And the decline in oil prices due to this kind of geopolitics and the natural resource of energy, the conventional energy, the non-conventional energy, suppose solar light, wind energy, some kind of situations are coming which is declining the price of oil. Once the price of oil decrease, the whole world, most of the developed countries, those are using the oil as their source of power, they will be demoralized and comes under the second stage. So if you see the India's most important thing importing now is majorly oil and the gold. If the import is less and export is high, then the global player can be come out as a most important and crucial factor. If we penetrate into the detail of the lessons of world geoeconomics, there are 5 lessons which is very important we have to understand. Then we can penetrate on the geoeconomics, which is the now the geopolitics or geoenergy has turned in this way. So these 5 important components are one of them is road of economic warfare. The government used the infrastructure of the global economy to pursue political goals. They challenge the universality of the system. So suppose the Sri Lanka's location is very good in the global or Southeast Asia to monitor the sea and also one of the exporter, importer or such kind of trade point of view. But when China or India or such big players are playing important role on the Sri Lanka, and it's a challenge to the universal situation. And that's why you could say that due to the excess inflow of the money or capitalistic approach of China to Sri Lanka has demoralized or almost economic demolition stage has reached Sri Lanka through this China's import activity and other kind of. So this is a road of economic warfare. And the second is right economic role and pursue new forms of engagement. States need to find right balance between laissez-faire and intervention. Where to intervene and where to play a defensive role or a silent mode of role, a leisure role. That has to be decided in the pursuit of the strategic goals. Now after the financial crisis, it is clear that state will be more involved in the setting of frameworks for economic activities. For example, Western countries could learn more China's infrastructure first model but adapt it to their strength. So China has started his economic policy or paradigm by building the various kind of infrastructure, and it can be copy from any other country, it can be duplicate or kind of anything, but the infrastructure was the prime resources, the social, the economic, the education of the country. It has everything has put on the second stage. The first and foremost stage from last 40 years China has put on the infrastructure development. And the third, survival of the biggest. Suppose a product is developed in China. Suppose the raw materials of medicines, most of the raw materials, many raw materials are available in China, and China is exporting to India. Now when the COVID situation again is coming, the India is worried about if the China is not able to supply the raw materials for the medicinal plants, medicines, then how the medicinal or industries of India can build up. So you have to be a big player of many sectors, and particularly few sectors, big players are only can survive. So it may be cheap, it may be raw material for medicine, it may be for the vaccination, anywhere. Suppose India has got a success in vaccination, in one of the hub of vaccine is going to be the India in the COVID situation. So this is the one of the examples. And the fourth is eye on the global prize but play by new rules in the interim. This is the another component of this play. Absolutely, we have to see that how we can achieve the global prize in terms of education, in terms of social equity, in terms of per capita income, in terms of women empowerment, but absolutely it has to be different strategy of a different interim policies. Suppose if we focus on the development of women empowerment, is there any possibility of economic upliftment of women by establishing such kind of industry in India or some other country, and as well as. So converting the problem in the opportunity. You have various problems, and that has to be converted to the opportunity, then only the economic power can be possible. And that is the major play of geopolitics. And the fifth and last, focus on key regional players and sub-global politics rather than worldwide institutions is necessary. Suppose there are various countries, around 190 countries, 192 countries all over the world. But as a country, it need not to be focused on all the country. You have to be focused as a part of your geopolitics, which are the important country you are going to be partnership for the terms of military defense, as well as for economic resources, as well as for the superpower in the worldwide situation. So, which are the key component or key countries are crucial for your country? That is the major and important goal in this way. That's why if you could see that first India, the present government has formed in 2014, all the neighboring countries of India has been called to when the Pradhan Mantri was getting as a oath for the Prime Ministership. So by calling these 8 countries, the Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and the other neighboring countries, itself has shows that first regional superpower has to be built, then has to be moved to the second stage. So these are 5 important components of global politics which can be lead to geopolitics and geoeconomics nowadays. In 2016, Iran, India, Afghanistan agreed that Indian commodities could into Afghanistan territory through Iran, and this process, the port of Chaba Bar, also fulfilled a key role. So India not only has seen in his SAARC countries, by using these countries such like as Afghanistan, entered to the other country like as Iran for their export business and all. In this direction, a second stage has moved by the present government on the era of Act East policy. Earlier it was Look East policy, now it is Act East policy. In this Act East policy, first government of India has started to looking into the development process of northeastern states. Once the northeastern states are connected by the railway, by the air, by the various ports, it has started to connectivity with the other states such like Japan, Cambodia, Burma, Bangladesh. So those all Southeast countries are now connected through this Act East policy. Therefore, the India-Myanmar-Thailand territorial highway is still being constructed, one of the important components, and would be extended under the name of East-West Economic Corridor towards Laos, Cambodia and Vietnam. Another significant initiative in the Kaladan project, which could connect Kolkata to Eastway on the sea, then Eastway and Lasio through the Kaladan river, and finally Lasio and Mizoram on public road. So these are various ways India is connecting in the various forms to the Asian countries and forming a Act East strategy. Singapore is one of the largest foreign investors for India. Therefore, the economic cooperation domination relationship between two countries. However, in 2016, two parts signed an agreement concerning establishing a strategic relationship, allowing the considerable opportunities for political, defense and military cooperation. Singapore was the first Asian country to sign the comprehensive economic partnership with India. Same with Vietnam. In the other Asian countries, India has signed. Japan has planned to make investment in India of value of $35 billion over the 5 years, including the smart city projects and the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor. In December 2015, Prime Minister confirmed that he aims to build a Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail with Japanese contribution, applying Shinkansen technology. So when India has started a Act East policy, it has entered another space that is called India as a naval power. In economic terms, the global significance of Indian Ocean is decisive in several aspects. Since the connecting strategy routes, 64% of the global petroleum trading flows across this territory. Annually, this corresponds 36 billion barrels a day. And it is coming through the ocean, Southeast Ocean. So India has built the various infrastructure in the Andaman Nicobar Island to cater the Southeast Asia and the ocean need and the transport for import and export, the various nodal point. Same in timeless to idea to support by the fact that present 95% of countries' trade is carried out on sea. In total, the program consists of 415 projects of the development of the 12 harbor and 1208 islands and the establishment of 6 mega harbors. So this is one of the way how India has building its naval power in this region. So through the various aspects, United Nations, Russia, China, other developed country, France, how India is building, that is the one kind of example for the geopolitics and the geoeconomics can alliance together and play a constructive path for the development of any nation.